If you're one of those people who think that the more views you get, the better it is, and it automatically means more sales, I have to tell you that you're seriously mistaken. In this video, I want to explain everything in detail so it really makes sense to you. What's the real story behind views, brand positioning, and attracting your target audience? Stay with me. One of the biggest traps people fall into on Instagram and maybe even on other social networks is trying to increase their views at any cost and by any means necessary. But along the way, they get caught up in certain games and head down paths that might get them more views. But as the saying goes, the side effects and consequences just aren't worth it. In fact, sometimes it can even be destructive. Before anything else, even before you start writing content ideas or scripting your content, you need to determine for yourself where your brand stands. Who is your target audience? What are their characteristics? What features do they have? What are their personality traits? What kinds of things do they usually like and prefer? Once you've identified these things, you need to create content in line with them. You should try to brainstorm ideas within that same framework and increase your views accordingly. If you step outside of that, a few negative things can happen. First of all, let me explain with an example. Imagine you have a certain expectation from a brand, for example. Let me use myself as an example. What you expect from me is to provide you with a series of tutorials within a specific defined framework. Do you expect me to get up and dance or do strange and unusual things in my videos? Definitely not. If I were to do that, I would definitely get a lot of views, but a few things would happen as a result. First, the image I've built of myself in your mind over these years, the position you've come to associate with me would definitely be damaged and its value would drop. The second point is that when you go in that direction, something else happens. You can't, because you're damaging your own position, whether intentionally or not, you can't get a good price from the customer. And this causes your level to drop, and accordingly, your value in the mind of your customer and audience also decreases. And that means the decline of a brand. And where's the even worse part? Very often, these marks and lines you leave on your brand because of actions like this, whether you got bad advice, thought incorrectly, or for any other reason, which I won't get into, are very hard and costly to fix. And the price you pay for it is even heavier. So before you go to publish your next video on Instagram, pay attention to this point and then take action. Now let's move forward and consider the opposite situation. Suppose you have a product or a service or a course. It's extremely cheap, completely inexpensive. Well, actually, I won't call it cheap. It's highly economical, very budget friendly, designed for the majority of people in society. And in terms of luxury or premium aspects, you haven't really worked on your brand in that direction, and you don't even like that style at all. Here, the situation is different. Here, your target audience becomes these people. Naturally, it's the general public people who may not be looking for expensive products and don't have particularly unique tastes. Here, the situation is different. It gives you much more flexibility. That's why I'm telling you, before you want to move forward seriously with your work or redesign it, pay attention to this point. It's something that a lot of people don't even think about. For example, whenever I work with beauty salons or different places, the first thing I ask is, do you know your audience? Then, for instance, a beauty salon owner tells me, of course, my audience is all women. But not all women are ever customers of a beauty salon. This is completely natural. And you need to really dig deep into this, especially nowadays, like right now as I'm talking to you. The market is becoming more and more competitive. You can't just act broadly or, as they say, randomly anymore. You have a set of services. The outcome of your services is clear. The pricing is clear. The location of your salon is clear. The level of your service is at a specific standard. All of these attract a certain group, a particular mindset, and a specific taste. Now, when I do this, the whole game becomes clear for me. I know who my customer is, what they want from me, and I can easily and intelligently provide them with what they need. This helps me attract more customers and also turn them into loyal customers at higher levels. But woe to the day when I don't know who my audience is and what they want from me. I end up running around in circles. I just keep thinking that I need to be seen more so that I can sell more. But that's not the case at all, and it actually causes a lot of the efforts I've made before to go to waste. Please don't fall into the trap of using any advice, any scenario, or any method at any cost just to get more visibility. I'll give you an example of this in my stories. Trying to increase the views on my stream is actually a very good and positive thing, but some people fall into traps here, like thinking, well, when I post a lot of stories, my views go down and people stop buying from me. This leads them to avoid posting story series or narrative stories that really help the audience understand, get educated, receive a call to action, see examples of work and so on. They dodge these, but they don't realize that the audience who watches all of this to the end and follows along with me is actually now fully ready to use that product or service. But there's a mistaken mindset that says, since the views on my last story are dropping, I should post fewer stories or not post many at all, because if they're not seen, they won't be bought. This is completely wrong. Over the years, I've seen many examples of posts that suddenly got 10 million or 8 million views, but in reality didn't generate any significant sales for the audience. And on the other hand, there have been posts that cleverly targeted the needs of their intended audience and with just 50 or 60 views, brought in hundreds of millions in sales. What I'm telling you is to value bringing in your target audience, not just being seen at any cost. I'm sure you've also seen plenty of examples of people, brands, businesses, or pages that suddenly acted against your expectations and gradually or sometimes all at once lost their position over time. This topic is much more extensive than what I've mentioned, and I need to explain it to you in more detail. I should give you more examples, and I will definitely talk about it in greater depth in the upcoming videos and the next pieces of content I share with you. I just ask that if you found the content useful so far and it's been practical for you, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video, so that from now on, you'll get notified about new videos faster. Instagram. I've worked so much on Instagram that I keep saying Instagram so that YouTube will show you the new videos more quickly. And by supporting this content, you'll also help others who need this type of content and these tutorials to find and benefit from them as well.